It's another episode of the High Achieving Female Podcast powered by No, and it's Sarah Benkin-Fishy, your host. I'm excited to introduce you today to Veronica Southerland, nationally board certified nurse practitioner and business mogul. Today, we're talking about how important it is to not just make money, but keep money. And she's going to introduce her 5 M's, the pillars for success for any business owner. Enjoy this episode. Welcome to the High Achieving Female Podcast powered by No, where we believe high achieving female leaders deserve to be known. Here, you're going to get the tips, tools, and inspiration you need to network, grow, scale, and balance your business, career, and life. Y'all, you have the best episode of this podcast. You're about to listen to it right here, right now. It's with my girl, Veronica Southerland. Get ready to be blown away. This episode is already going to be fire. Veronica, thank you so much for being here today.
Listen, whenever you call, I am there. Absolutely. It is a pleasure. I'm excited to pour into women who are about their business.
Okay, so we were just doing this like little prep. So Veronica and I have known, I know her as V. So we have her holler V, don't get confused. But Veronica and I have known each other for quite some time, and she is a force. And when we were just prepping a second ago, we both were like, I don't even know what's about to happen, but it's about to be really good. So for those of you who do not know Veronica Southerland, she is a nationally board certified nurse practitioner. She is a specialist in growth and scaling. She teaches other women-owned business owners how to grow and scale, specifically in healthcare, but also beyond. And she uses these 5 M's, which she calls the pillars of growing and scaling a business. So, Veronica, I just want to just jump into this. So, thank you again so much for being here. Let's give them what you got, girl. Let's talk about these 5 M's.
We are going to jump with no parachute. You ready?
I'm ready.
So all businesses go through what I call the 5 M's, right? And these are the 5 pillars of business. Doesn't matter if you are a solopreneur, you're just getting started trying to figure it out, or if you're a Fortune 500 company. We all have gone through this process. So the first M is always mindset. It's always a mindset transformation that has to happen. You have to decide that the life that you're living isn't your best life. And so what are you going to do to transform or to change that? So mindset is very, very important. You have to decide who you want to be, right? You have to decide what you want to do. You have to decide what you want to have. Nobody can answer those questions besides you. So that's the first part, right? Mindset. We have to get our mind in the game, right? I run a mastermind called My Mindset, My Millions, because your millions are stuck in your head and we have to make sure that we manifest those. So That's the first M. The second M is money, because we all want it. We want more of it. We think it's going to change our entire life. And to some degree it does. So whether you're a small business or you're, again, a Fortune 500 company, you want to know, where's the money, right? How do you get it? How do you raise the capital? Or once you're making it, you want to know how you can capitalize on it. You want to know how to keep more of it, how to make it go farther. So money is very important. So we talk about strategies around money and marketing, that sort of thing. The third M is very important because you have to figure out what your message is. Who are you talking to, right? I am quite the salesperson, as we all are if you're in business. If you're in business, you can also add salesman, saleswoman, salesperson to your resume, to your CV, because you have to be a person that understands who your audience is and the message that you're trying to convey to those people. So if you are not solving a problem for people, you are not making any money in your business. You have a very expensive hobby. So messaging is very important. You have to make sure that you nail your messaging down. The other M that I like to talk about, it's just kind of boring, but we have to do it. It's called systems, right? So it's the methodologies. What methods are you doing to bring the money into your business? So systems, right? The marketing system. How do you hire a team? How do you grow your audience? Like what are we using as far as emails or text message or your CRM? A lot of people go, oh my God, what's a CRM? So if you don't know what a CRM is, I need you to Google that right now, because they're basic things that you're going to have to know if you're planning to run a legitimate business. CRMs are very important. They will save your life. So you want to make sure that you're using the right methods to minimize the madness, right? And then the last M that I always talk about is movement, because we go through all of these steps, you hear all the things, you get pumped up, and then there's no movement. So you have to do something. Sarah said it best. She said we were ready to jump. So jumping is movement.
That's right.
To take the first step. And the first step for people are going to be, it may be different, right? So you have to figure out what step is right for you. Just because your best friend wrote a book and it was a New York Times bestseller doesn't mean that you have to write a book.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for saying that first and foremost. Like, let's stop trying to compete with what everybody else is doing.
Oh, for sure.
And let's like stay in our lane and start identifying what our purpose is. And I love it when you said like, the mindset piece. It really does start with that, right? Because if you don't have that in check, then you are going to be trying to write a book when you probably shouldn't be doing, or doing all the things that you see everybody else out there trying to do. But you're right. It's action and leverage and all of those things that are really going to take it up to the next level. So I want to stop you there and ask you this question. And I don't know if it's ever been posed in this type of way. So in the beginning, in the intro, I just said you are a nationally board certified nurse practitioner. Okay. I am going to the doctor on Friday and I'm going to be seeing a nurse practitioner.
Yay.
But you're not really like, you're a different, you're like, you know, see where I'm going with this. I'm like, okay, so you're a nurse practitioner by trade, by education, by schooling and all of the things. And truly you could be the nurse practitioner that I'm going to see on Friday, right? Because you both hold the same degrees, you know, et cetera. What in the hell makes you different than, because I'm sure my nurse practitioner that I'm going to see on Friday is not going to talk to me about sales and the M's and the mindset and the money and all of that. So let's just break this down, because I feel like we need to go there to learn a little bit about Veronica. So Veronica, the nurse practitioner, how did you get from nurse practitioner to what you just schooled us on a second ago?
So let me go back though, because you said you don't think that your nurse practitioner that you're going to see Friday is going to talk to you about the 5 M's. She kind of is. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
So money, you have to pay your copay to see her, right?
Yeah.
So that's your first M. You're going to give her money. You're exchanging money for her time or for her service. So that's number one. She just doesn't control it.
Yeah.
But if she were to talk to me, I would tell her how. But anyway, so that's the first M. So the mindset part is her knowing that she's a healer. She is a helper. She is serving you. So her mindset is that you're coming there because you have a need and she's going to help service you, meaning she's going to help problem solve whatever that need is, whether it's a regular physical, whether you need a prescription filled, whether you're just coming in to talk about family planning or whatever, right? So that's the mindset part of it, because a lot of times people get very disgruntled with healthcare because they feel rushed. They feel like, oh, my doctor doesn't have time for me, or the healthcare system is broken, and all those other things. My nurse practitioner takes time with me, and we do, right? So her perspective is a little bit different. So as a nurse practitioner, I'm more on the preventive health side. Do I diagnose? Yes. Do I treat? Yes. Do I write prescriptions? Yes, I do all of that. But my perspective is different. My approach is different. So as far as messaging, the messaging is already there because you've already scheduled an appointment with her. So whatever she's doing for you, you know that I'm going there to get this thing solved. The other thing is movement. She's going to talk to you about what you're going to do. She's going to put together a plan of care for you.
Yep.
Call it something different, right? On the business side of it. But that's all it is, the plan of care. It's a plan of action. So she's going to take you through those 5 M's just in a different way. So my specialty is teaching healthcare people how to take their clinical acumen and turn it into dollars and cents in their pocket for themselves versus them doing it for a hospital system or an acute care system. That's all. It's just a matter of changing the way that you critically think about what it is that you do and what you're good at. She's a salesman. I sell to people all the time. People don't like taking pills, but I guarantee you, if you came into my practice, I could talk you into taking whatever pill it is I want you to take to get rid of whatever the thing is that you want to get rid of or to add to your regimen. Like it's a nice little dance that we do with our patients, and you do the
Yep.
same thing with your customers, your clients, whatever you want to call them. You do the same dance. It's the same thing. So I took all of that as a registered nurse when I first started, because I hadn't even gone to grad school when I first opened my first business. I owned a home care agency when I first got started in business. And within 18 months, I'd made my first $1 million. And it's because I was able to capitalize on all those skills I just talked about to the patients, and I solved problems for them. And I helped decrease their cost of healthcare, because as a home care agency owner, I knew what they were going to need. And so I was able to foresee those needs and meet them before they even knew it was a problem. And it kept them from going back into the hospital unnecessarily and having more expensive bills. So I saved them money, I solved the problem, and I created a great relationship.
That's awesome. Okay. So because here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking somebody listening to this would say, wow, 18 months to $1 million. That's incredible. And she wasn't even, didn't have all the credentials that she has now. And she hasn't built out this program that that she's offering to others. Maybe she's just really special.
I am.
Maybe she can do it and I can't do it.
You, but I am, and so are you. You just have to figure out what your special is. We're all
But
special.
how? But how? Because this is what I get all the time, right? We hear this, and I know you talk to a lot of women too, and they're like, but how? But how? I just don't get it. I don't get it. How? And you're like, listen, it is this application that you literally just went through, right?
It is, yes. Again, it's what do you like to do? Who are you? Most women, we're talking about women specifically here,
Yeah.
don't know who they are. That's
Right.
problem number one. If you were to ask the average person, who are you? They're going to say, oh, I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. No, sweetheart. That's a title that you have because you have 3 children. Who are you as a person? Veronica is a giver. She's a compassionate person. She's smart. She's a little bit sassy. She's classy. I'm a little bit bougie sometimes on Sunday. Like you, who are you? Right? Who are you? We forget who we are. We forget how to dream. We forget that as a little kid, you wanted to fly to the moon or whatever it was that you wanted to do. We forget that. And so you have to kind of go back to who I'm, like the basics. Who are you? What do you like to do? That's how you figure it out. What do you like to do? What is something that you would do if you didn't get paid for it? I'm going to talk to people and take care of people anyway, because that's who I am. It's a gift for me. I'm special. I am special. Some people may say I'm too special, but I am special. But we all have it. You just have to figure out what your it is, right?
I love that. It's, who are you? We have a mutual friend in common, and I talk about her all the time. Jacinda, she talks about being uniquely qualified. And I truly, truly believe this, right? It's like, find out who you are and build from there. Because when you start with your God-given gifts and talents, you go with who you are to the core, your passions, your interests, et cetera. Only good things and success can come from that, right? So it really does start with the mindset component.
And that doesn't negate the challenges that you're going to have. You're going to have challenges regardless of what you do, who you are. Everybody has something, right? Nobody's perfect, number one. And I don't think, in my opinion, especially go back to that comparison thing that you said, I hate that because there's so much noise on social media, just in the internet, period. Mm-hmm. There's so much noise. There's so much, glamorizing entrepreneurship or even certain job sectors, or there's certain things that people are like, oh my God, I want to do that. But you may not be good at that.
Yes.
So when it doesn't work for you, now you're devastated. Find out the thing that you are, like you said, God-given talent. Capitalize on those things and it won't feel like you're working.
But how does one approach that or start that work? Maybe I'm in a business or like in my example, so I'll just use a Sarah example. I actually, out of necessity, started in an accounting career and did pretty well. Realized that wasn't who I was, right? And I was stuck in this operational type of, field, and then really realized later that I'm just a better salesperson and I'm more naturally gifted towards that. So say someone's like in a stuck career, they know something isn't right, they don't know where to start. What do you tell them? Where do you tell them to start?
So in that, again, it's that mindset transformation, right? And so if you're around people who are broke, busted, and disgusted, as I like to say, you're going to be broke, busted, and disgusted as well. So your circle number one has a lot of influence on you, right? If you're around 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth. If you're around 5 broke people, you'll be the sixth broke person. So you have to figure out, number one, who are you around, right? Because they influence you, whether we like to admit it or not, they do. And it doesn't matter your age. Peer pressure is a BI, you know what, regardless of whether you're 50 or 5. So a lot of women don't, oh, peer pressure, it's still a thing. So you have to figure that part out first. Grab a book, read. When you ask the average woman, when was the last time you read a book that helped you be a better woman? They cannot tell you because they're so busy doing other things for other people. So you got to pour into yourself, right? You have to, this is what I call selfish season. And there's nothing wrong with you being selfish, but we think there is something wrong with it because you're giving to all these other people. You have nothing left for yourself. So start with you, prioritize you, read a book, right? If you don't want to read, do Audible, listen to it. I always tell people that I'm starting to work with to read the 4 Agreements first. Start there. I love that book. Talks about character. You have to kind of find yourself in that book. It's wonderful. Baseline gives you something that you can start with that's not too over your head. It's a quick, easy read. Then I tell them to kind of focus on the things that they're doing that they don't like to do.
Yes.
Like literally, like I'm not an admin person. I love people. I love sales. I love interacting. If I have to answer one more email, oh my God, right? So you have to be able to delegate those things that you're not that great at. We can't be good at everything. We think we are, but we can't be. And so figure out the things that you like to do, figure out the things that you don't like to do. The things that you don't like to do, then that, of course, would not be a business that you're going to start. Once you figure out the things that you really like to do, what brings you joy, what makes you smile, what do you find yourself thinking about, right? That's how you figure out what your thing is. Start there. And I promise you, it never fails. Once you kind of get yourself into that arena, that headspace, doors will open. You'll begin to meet people. You have to get out and network. You have to get out of your home, out of your little closet. You have to get out and say, hi, my name is, and not be afraid to meet people because you're afraid they're not going to like you. Who cares? You're not put on this earth for everybody to like you. You do not want everybody to like you.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
Right? And the other thing is, aside from liking you, your business isn't going to serve everybody.
Right.
Right? Your business is going to serve those that are assigned to you, those people that are called to your business. And I always like to say that your business is your ministry. Right? That's the thing that you're called to do. That's the thing that you're gifted to do. Whether you're stapling papers and you're the best paper stapler there is, the north side of whatever, then do that. And those are the people that are going to seek you out. So you just have to, again, that mindset transformation, that's how you start. Once you kind of start doing those things, more of that is going to show up for you, right? More of those opportunities for you to get in rooms with women like you, Sarah, who are going to help them now to see other opportunities available, other opportunities where they can meet other women, where they can forge relationships, because it's all about relationships. Business is relationships.
It really is.
That's really all it is. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I wanted to say, when I think about women that are leading others, I'm always in awe of ladies who are like walking the walk and who are the testimony, the case study. We talk about this a lot in our fields because there's so much noise out there and there's so many people that we could buy from or that could coach us or that could be mentors or business coaches that never had businesses before. We talk a lot about that or the shine or all of that. And one of the things I love about you, Veronica, is that you are not just like speaking this is facts, because this is facts from your own life, from your own journey, from the trials,
from my own bankruptcy, from my own zero money in my bank account, honey, from my own losing my $2 million house, all of that. So
And there's some people who are like, you can do it, but no. Veronica, and I would say in a very small select people out here that I see on, who are personas or whatever, they have walked the walk. How do I know that this is possible? Because I am the proof of that, right? And you are the case study. I always like to call people, the case studies where it's like we want to emulate or be around people who are doing the damn thing, right? You're doing the damn thing, but you also know firsthand what it's like to like have it all, lose it all, have it, lose it, fail forward, all of that. Talk a little bit about your journey, because I really want to humanize you, because everything that you're saying, I'm like, yes. And I know our listeners are like, hell yes, this woman knows her stuff. But let's put a little bit behind that. Like, tell everyone who Veronica really is.
Well, I know it not because I wanted to, though.
Right. No one does,
Right?
but
Like Repos, I meet people and they're like, oh my God, I want to be like you. And I go, no, you don't. I don't do what I do so that people can be like me. I do what I do so that you can be better than me. It has taken me 24 years to get to this point. And if I'm working with women, it should not take you 24 months to get to this point. Because what happens is you collapse time by working with people who have been there, done that, right? Because I can tell you, if you walk left 3 steps and then turn right, there's a pothole right there. So don't do that. Do this because this works. And so as someone who, again, had success very, very early, when I started my first business, and it was hard though. I didn't have a business coach. I didn't know that I needed an attorney all the time, right? So I set my own LLC up because somebody told me I could do it. And my crazy self believed them, but they didn't tell me all the other things that need to go along with it. I didn't have a CPA. I ended up buying a business at one point and ended up paying $394,000 in back taxes that I wasn't even responsible for.
oh
Like, there's so many things that happened over the course of me figuring it out. And so I talk to women about that. And I say, if you're patterning your experience by someone who hasn't been there and done that, you're making a mistake, because they can't help you troubleshoot the thing that they've not gone through. So I had success very early, right? My husband at the time, I was married for almost 20 years. My husband at the time quit his corporate job, making 6 figures, to come work in the business with me. And so nobody told me that, hey, at 5 o'clock, you guys need to be not business partners, but you need to go into your husband-wife role at home and leave business at the office. And we didn't know that. Like, right? We had a small kid. We're making all this money. We're living the life. And then work bleeds into your home life. So you find yourself having conversations about business all the time. And so you neglect the relationship. Again, there's that word.
Mm-hmm.
You neglect the relationship. So I talk to women all the time. I'm like, listen, if you have a significant other, you have to make time for them outside of your business. And just because it's your dream doesn't mean it's his or her dream. So you've got to figure out what your boundaries are early on. Nobody told me that. Like, even my first millionaire mentor, he didn't tell me that because he was divorced himself. He didn't, and I don't even think he even thought to say that to me, right? And so we built a business. We ended up literally going from, $1 million in 18 months to we were probably at 5 or 6 within 3 or 4 years. I bought a whole bunch of companies. We grew really, really fast. Nobody talked to me about how to scale properly. Nobody talked to me about what happens when you have explosive growth in your business. I didn't know, what I didn't know. And so, and now, here comes, 2008, 9, 10. Everybody knows what happened to the economy back then. And we weren't ready. People just thought, well, you have all this money. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't have the fortitude at the time to make sure that my business was prepared for a dip in the market like that. And even though it was healthcare business, my business was still driven by the doctors and lawyers that I serviced, right? all of the high powered, high income earning people who were affected by the downturn of the economy, they could no longer afford my services, which meant that I had to close offices. There were changes. The government made some changes with insurance coverage. At the time, I had 200 employees. We then had to have like major medical insurance for all 200 people. At some point, when you think about the numbers, Bill Gates would have run out of money. And so, you're looking at financially what's happening in the economy. The real estate market is going, to where.
Uh-huh.
And so you're trying to maneuver all of these things, and it ends up affecting your quote unquote work-life balance. There wasn't any. And so I took my savings at that time, right? I'm trying to save my business. I'm making payroll. My payroll was like $250,000 a month. We had that. We had $250,000 in insurance going out. It was ridiculous. Like the
My
expenses
gosh.
were crazy. And so, you look at that, and at some point you go, wait a minute, right? But because I'm a person of integrity, I want to make sure that my people are getting paid for the work that they're doing, even though the company wasn't getting reimbursed. I drained every account we had. I used my personal savings. I lost that $2 million forever home that we had just built, right? That's gone. The designer bags, cars, shoes, all of it, it's gone because you're trying to save your business. And on top of that, the relationship with me and my husband was strained, of course.
Right.
Because I'm now working like 100 hours a day trying to figure it out. I remember having a conversation with my now ex-husband. For those of you who haven't caught on yet, I am divorced. I remember having a conversation with him saying, hey, we can no longer afford your 6-figure salary. Now, I don't know how many wives have ever had to lay their husbands off. That is a very difficult conversation. And so it messes with your head, right? As a man, I'm sure he was just kind of like, what's happening, right? And if you remember during that time, jobs were hard to come by.
Yeah.
Especially jobs for a corporate person making high 6 figures. Like it wasn't like you could just go down the street and be like, hey. So it was all of that, and then emotionally the stress of the finances, the stress of our strained marriage. We had a small child, and you're trying to maneuver all of these things. And mentally, I was exhausted because there's at some point you're like, what did I do wrong? And then I started internalizing things. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And so you just kind of go through all these things, and then life happens. You have to make decisions, right? I think I kind of woke up one morning and was like, I can't keep doing this. Something's got to change. So, you're moving, you're closing offices, you're filing bankruptcy, because I had to end up filing bankruptcy.
Hmm.
So for those of you who think there's no return after bankruptcy, there is, because I'm a product of it. So yes, you can live again, and live very well, might I add. But it takes integrity to, go through that process and still hold your head up high, knowing that you did the best that you could, and shake it off. Honestly, people are like, what did you do? And I was like, well, I woke up one day and I was like, hey, I got to shake it off. I got to keep going. I can't stop. That wasn't an option. We have a small
Right.
child we have to take care of. We still have to live. Like, what are we going to do? We're going to go back to work. So for those entrepreneurs who are thinking that it's an embarrassment for you to have to go back to work, no, it's not. It's called survival. And you're going to do what you have to do to make sure that your bills are paid, that your children are taken care of, and you're going to hold your head up high, and you're going to keep going. In the meantime, get a therapist.
Yeah.
Two, if you must, because I didn't deal with my mental health. And so when it was all said and done, like when the dust settled, I went from a 9,000 square foot house to a 2-bedroom apartment, and bad credit, right? Because I had used all my money, all the credit and all that stuff. So I had literally had to start over from nothing. And now and on top of that, now I'm a single mom, right? And so nobody, like, you don't go into business thinking that all this stuff is going to happen. But the best thing I think that happened to me was the fact that I knew that if I could make 1 million one time, I could do it again.
Hmm.
That for me was like, girl, if you could do it one time, not knowing anything, oh my God. Now you know a little bit of something. Oh, like it was amazing. So, like the energy that came from me knowing that I could do this again, that's when I went back to school. I went back to school. I said, I've got to get my graduate degree. I need to open up my own practice because I was able to salvage 2 of my offices. I had 6 across 2 states, but I was able to salvage 2 based on these $1 million contracts that I had. People think, oh my God, you still had $1 million business. Baby, let me tell you something. Even if you have $1 million business, if your bills are $1,001,001, you are still broke.
Yes.
So let's be very clear. Even though I had $1 million quote unquote business based on those contracts, the bills were more than that. So I was still broke. So I still worked 3 jobs. 1, 2, 3, 3 jobs.
Yeah.
My husband, at the time, he stayed home with our daughter. Well, he was like, Mr. Mom, because he was out of work. And so he filed for unemployment with the business. So for those of you who are contracting everybody or 1099ing everybody, it will fare you okay to put people on W-2. So that way, if anything happens, they can file for unemployment. That's why you pay unemployment taxes and insurance. Even though it was only $1,800 a month, we needed that.
Yeah.
So we did what we had to do, right? I remember hiding $50,000 in a brown paper bag under our mattress because we were afraid that Uncle Sam was going to garnish all of our accounts when we were going through all of this. And I was like, this is our last 50 grand. Like, all we had. Do you know that $50,000 stayed in that brown paper bag for 3 years?
Wow.
3 years. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. I worked 3 jobs and I went back to school full time.
You know what I love in hearing this story is that life really is a set of do-overs. And just because it didn't work the first time, you can continue to create and recreate and pivot and develop and refine. And it really does ultimately go back to mindset, right? And you talk about being a survivor. And I think some of the women that I admire most are the ones that are strong. And I would generally say that most women, when they're backed into the corner and there are no other options, we rise. And that's one of the things I love about women, that we're resilient and that we are able to reinvent when we need to, but we also kind of go into the survival mode. And survival mode, that's a whole nother conversation, another podcast topic. It's not a beautiful thing when you're staying in that state, but it does allow us to survive and to refine and rebuild. And so kudos to you, because I can only imagine, I know with women listening to this episode to be like, wow, okay, that just put so much more weight into what Veronica was just saying at the beginning of this episode. And this is why I think so many women want to come and work with you, and because you've been there, done that, and now you're teaching them a better way. And a lot of what we need to do as women, and which I think you're doing, is that further, faster mentality. Like, how can we take what we've done? You said like it took me 20 years. If it didn't have to take me 24 years. This should be a 24-month thing. So you've really focused on helping women get there further, faster. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, thank you. Congratulations. I am so inspired by you and all of the things that you have done. And I love that this is part of the give back, the Veronica give back.
Listen, they don't call me V the MP for nothing.
And I'll tell you what, like our circle is so small. Every time I talk to you or I encounter somebody, they're like, oh, they know you, or you're working with them, or you're mentoring them, or you are such a light to so many. What do you say to women? Oh, any woman who is like ready to give up, it's not working for whatever reason. What do you say to those women?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. I feel like it's like you have 10 seconds to close this out. Okay, so number one, I would say you are definitely worth it for sure, because it starts there. It always starts with us. Everything that you need is already inside of you. You just have to tap into it. Most of us at some point, somebody told us we weren't worth it, couldn't do it, weren't smart enough, and we believed the hype for whatever reason. So now you need to trash that mentality, right? And start
Mhm.
over and ask yourself what you would do if you knew what you were going to do would not fail. Because the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. Like you literally can do whatever you want. Be, do, have. I'm going to end with that. Who do you want to be? What do you have to do to have what you want to have?
I love that. And if someone is interested in the pillars, the 5 pillars, those M's that you talked about, they want to work with you. They want to get inside of your brain. They are like, this is the woman. How do they connect with you? Do you have programming that they could tap into? Like if they want more, how do they get it?
Absolutely. So I am not that tech savvy. So if you want to send me an email, you can. You can send it to my assistant. And it's assist at gmail.com. Or you can just send it to me, VEETHENP at gmail.com. And I'm V the NP across all social media platforms. But yeah, just
V
send
the
me an email.
NP. I
V the
love that.
NP, VEETHENP at gmail.com. Always. I love CEO chats, but my CEO stands for something a little different.
Okay, tell us about it.
So CEO for me is the C is C's, even though C starts with an S, we know that, but we're using the C. It sees every opportunity.
Yes. Amazing. Amazing. We're just cracking the surface. We're going to do so much more together. I can't even tell everybody all the things that we've got up and down the pipeline. But thank you so much for pouring into us today, for pouring into all of the women that you have and lives that you have changed. You are an incredible woman. Again, we are just cracking the surface. Go connect with V, the MP on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the things. Veronica Southerland, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the High Achieving Female Podcast, powered by No, where we believe it's time for high achieving women like you to be seen, heard, and recognized. Until next time, remember, you deserve to be known.